The best teams, your favorite players, and they're all right here on Fox Family.
That ball is gone.
America loves baseball, and it's time for the playoffs. And the best seat in the house is right here on Fox Family. Major League Baseball, the divisional playoffs, all this week on Fox Family and Fox.
Welcome back to the Budweiser pregame show.
To play or not to play? That was the question. All right, here's your answer. Mark McGwire may be in pain, but come on, it's the postseason. Postseason was all a part of the master plan in Arizona. While most teams have an ace, a Cy Young candidate to lead the way, the Diamondbacks trade with Schilling in July of 2000 gave them 2, giving them maybe the best 1-2 punch baseball has seen in 36 years. Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling are baseball's dynamic duo. They dominate and intimidate batters like Batman and Robin control criminals in Gotham.
You have to dig into the history of baseball, I think, to come up with a 1-2 punch as good as these guys have been all year long. And for a rookie manager, I can't imagine a better situation having 2 guys like that at the top of your rotation. It makes me smart 2 days a week. I know that for sure.
The numbers are staggering. D-backs duo combined for 665 strikeouts, smashing the Angels mark of 624 in 1974. But the ultimate comparison is with Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale of the 65 Dodgers. In a 4-man rotation, the Dodger duo combined for 49 wins in 47 complete games, 592 strikeouts, and 664 innings. In a 5-man rotation this season, Johnson and Schilling tallied 43 wins, a 2.74 ERA, with record-breaking strikeout totals, and a better winning percentage in 17 fewer appearances.
I probably talk pitching more with Randy Johnson than anybody. Because I think we feel like there's some things that are very similar about us that we can kind of feed off of or learn. And I know I've learned some things from him, and I would like to think I've maybe taught him a thing or two that he didn't know.
Their style of pitching, throwing strikes and working quickly, has rubbed off on the defense. Arizona committed the fewest errors in the National League this year. That's why Schilling has allowed just 1 unearned run and Johnson only 5 in their 71 appearances.
Look how dominant Johnson and Schilling are compared to other dynamic duos, especially some old friends of mine. Koufax and Drysdale back in 63 and 65, and Johnson and Schilling. The 665 strikeouts are phenomenal, but what I like about them is they only walk combined 110 guys. That's a 6-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. That will help your defense play good, solid defense and be on the balls of your feet. So with those 2 guys, they have a chance to do things that they haven't done before, and that's go to the World Series. Besides them, they are number 1 in fielding, number 4 in hitting, which surprised me, and we know about their pitching staff. That enough is to go to the World Series, Jeannie. I think they can do it this year. You know, they've got other guys. Council's done a great job. Mark Grace, Finley, Womack in the second half has been great, surrounding Luis Gonzalez.
All right, first things first, though. They got to play the game. So that's going to do it for us as the journey does indeed begin in the desert. And this is where the rubber meets the toe. The 2 winningest pitchers in baseball pitching for a shot at the NLCS. The road to the World Series continues next on Fox.
We gotta check 'em out!
The Division Series on Fox, presented by Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you.
Better than 45,000 on hand at Bank One Ballpark in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. Game 1 of the National League Division Series between the St. Louis Cardinals and Bob Brenly's Arizona Diamondbacks. And a pleasant good evening to you. Alongside Steve Lyons, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome to playoff baseball here on Fox Family. Well, the first question a lot of baseball fans want to know the answer to, Cardinal fans in particular, is Mark McGwire in the lineup tonight? And the answer is a resounding yes.
Yes, he is, and there's a lot of people around St. Louis that might think the Cardinals are a better team without McGwire in the lineup. Tony La Russa told us today, no way. They're a much better team when he's in the lineup. They're a much stronger bench when he's in the lineup. He hasn't had his best season, but he knows when Mark McGwire strolls to the plate, it makes the other team very, very uncomfortable. But to me, the big key to the success of the Cardinals is the top of the outer order. Vina and Polanco have to get on base to set the table for those big bangers later in the lineup.
Well, it's a tall order when you consider that Arizona all year long has been led by a devastating 1-2 punch in Curt Schilling and Randy Johnson. And Schilling, a 22-game winner, gets the ball tonight.
22 wins, the possible Cy Young of the National League. This is a guy that can run his fastball up in the zone. He has devastating control, but we all know that he's given up 37 home runs this year. He's got to make sure he takes those guys in the top of the order for the Cardinals, keep them off base, so that if he does give up a home run, it's only a solo shot.
If there was one area, very quickly, Steve, that could make the difference between winning and losing for these teams, what is it?
This series is all about starting pitching. Neither team likes their bullpen all that much. If their starters do well, they'll be all right.
All right, let's go downstairs for our national anthem. Honor Guard.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the conclusion of tonight's Star-Spangled Banner, 4 F-16s from Luke Air Force Base's 56th Fighter Wing will fly over. The Emerald Knights of the 308 Fighter Squadron are here to show their patriotism and protection as the United States continues its fight to endure all of our freedoms. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Arizona Diamondbacks are pleased to present our national anthem, performed for you this evening by Jesse McGuire.
Do you think it's a rarity that two pitchers with at least 22 wins would face one another in Game 1 of any postseason game? If you answered yes, you're dead on the money. Today marks only the 10th time in history that it's occurred, and the first time since 1974. Schilling has been around for 12 years. Matt Morris back after arm surgery took him out for an entire season, a 22-game winner against 8 losses, and both told us yesterday they're ready to roll in Game 1 tonight.
I have an overriding desire to be counted on when it matters most, and the only way you do that in sports is by performance at crunch time.
Going up against a guy like Curt Schilling is, it's going to be great. It's going to, it's going to be a battle, and I think our lineup's up to it.
And Tommy, you talk about two guys that have 22 wins apiece, and they did it in different ways. When you talk about that guy right there, Matt Morris, really a breakout season. When they talked about this guy being just a phenomenal pitcher with a great fastball before he got hurt, learned how to pitch afterwards, and then Schilling right there, who's just a flat-out stud, knows how to pitch and has evolved over time into the pitcher that he is right now.
The one area of concern for Dave Duncan and Tony La Russa coming into this game, Steve, is that maybe Matt Morris would be a little too pumped up.
I think there's no question about the fact that that is a possibility for him. We talked to Schilling about that, and he said, I'm going to use the jitters. He said, when I went through this in '93 with the Phillies, I wasn't sure what to expect. Now I know I'm going to use those butterflies and those jitters to my advantage, channel my enthusiasm for the game, and make it work for me, make me be sharper, make me pinpoint my location even better.
Well, the Diamondbacks have taken the field. Let's take a look at Tony La Russa. This is his 8th season going to the playoffs as a big league manager. Our lineup brought to you by Budweiser. Fernando Vina leads off at second. Placido Polanco is at third. J.D. Drew in right. The amazing rookie Albert Pujols is in left field with Jim Edmonds in center and Big Mac at first. A ladder third, the shortstop Edgar Renteria. Mike Matheny behind the plate for Matt Morris. And on the mound, a native Phoenician, 34-year-old right-hander Curt Schilling.
Workhorse, 22 wins, 256 and 2/3 innings. Those numbers are the kind of numbers that you look at for an ace of a staff. Of course, this team has 2 of them. Let's look at the scouting report on Schilling. He has taken advantage of that high strike zone as much as anybody in baseball this year. He is a fierce competitor, and as long as he limits his home runs to solo shots, he's all right. He gave up 37 homers, 31 of them solo. No big deal.
And the defense behind him, no big deal as far as Bob Brenly is concerned. The #1 ranked defensive team in the National League. 4-time Gold Glove winner Mark Grace at first, and 4-time Gold Glove winner Matt Williams at third. They're outstanding up the middle with Womack Council and a Gold Glove winner in center Steve Finley, and they believe Damian Miller should supplant Mike Matheny as a Gold Glove winner behind the plate. It was 1 year ago that Bob Brenly was on his way to St. Louis to broadcast the National League Championship Series for Fox. And here he is, the first-year manager, Game 1, taking his team to the postseason.
Well, he has done a tremendous job with a veteran ball club, making some moves throughout the season that a lot of teams wouldn't be able to handle. He sat down some superstar players and told them, you better get your rear end in gear or else you'll sit here for the rest of the season. That's a tough thing to do, to come in as a rookie manager and pull that.
So we're set to go. Fernando Vina, a .303 hitter during the regular season, 9 home runs, 56 batted in. He stole 17 bases. And this guy has turned into some kind of a player. He's always been very good. He just keeps getting better and better. Schilling set to turn it loose. And a fastball is high, says Randy Marshall, home plate umpire, and we are underway.
Oh, you look at Vina and you talk about the prototypical type leadoff hitters. He really isn't. Doesn't walk enough, but he doesn't strike out. He only struck out 35 times this year. He's a very aggressive leadoff hitter. Doesn't run as well as you might like to have your leadoff guy. But I'll tell you what, he'll stand up there. He'll get hit by pitch. He'll take count. He'll go deep into the count. But sooner or later, he's going to be up there hacking. 2-0
to Vina. And Schilling's first strike of the game, 2-1. Told you Randy Marsh calling the balls and strikes. They go with 6 umpires in the playoffs. John Hirschbeck, Larry Young, Tim Sheet in the infield. Down the left field line, Dale Scott. Alfonso Marquez down the right field line. 2-1 to Vina. And a fly ball in the left center field. Finley as good as anybody around. 1 gone, and there's a big out. As you talked about from the outset, you thought Vina and Polanco could be the difference when all is said and done tonight.
Well, you know, the middle of the order, especially when you get to playoff baseball, you're talking about the middle of any one of these teams' orders has a bunch of guys in there that can swing the bat. J.D. Drew, Pujols, Edmonds, McGuire. You do not want guys on base when those guys stroll to the plate.
Placido Polanco, one of the real unsung heroes of this Cardinal team this season, made 133 starts. Pitch on the way, and a ground ball to right side, gobbled out by the Diamondbacks' unsung hero this year, Craig Counsell. 2 up, 2 down.
Here's where the way that Schilling studies the game comes into play. Everybody knows that Polanco's had a lot of success going the other way. Watch Schilling bury him inside so that he gets in on his hands on that pitch, so that it's a much tougher pitch for Polanco to go the other way with.
Now the 25-year-old Georgia native J.D. Drew with 2 down and nobody on. And Drew looks at a strike on the inside corner. Drew missed a lot of time this season, only played in 109 games, had a broken pinky, a lower back sprain. But boy, when he's been in there, he's been as good as anybody around. And Schilling mows him down 1, 2, 3 in order with very little trouble. So Gonzalez and the Diamondbacks come up against Matt Morris when we return. Head for the bottom half of the first inning. You get a look at Bob Brenly and his right-hand man, the bench coach Bob Melvin on the Arizona bench. And here's their lineup. Brought to you by Budweiser. Tony Womack leads off at short. Steve Finley in center field. And what a marvelous year for Luis Gonzalez. He's in left, 57 home runs. Reggie Sanders in right. The veteran Mark Grace in third. The veteran Matt Williams in third base. A ladder third of Craig Counsell, Damian Miller, Curt Schilling. Against a talented right-hander, Matt Morris.
Boy, we're seeing some gaudy numbers here with these starting pitchers. There you see once again 22 wins for Morris. Throws a real heavy, hard sinker, a big 12-6 breaking ball. That mid-90s fastball and curveball right there we're talking about. Had that Tommy John surgery, but as we mentioned, seems like a better pitcher because after he came back from that surgery, Dave Duncan told me that he had to be more conscious of the fact that he couldn't just blow people away. He had to learn off-speed pitches, and he learned a lot from sitting out and watching other guys be successful in the dugout while he was healing from the injury.
Tony Womack, a .266 hitter during the season, hit 3 home runs, 30 runs batted in. He had a horrible first half of the year, but then really turned it on over the second half, and arguably was Arizona's best player in the month of September. Ball 1 away. And Womack undoubtedly the fastest player on either team in the game here in this series. 2-0.
And once again, Tommy, when we talked about the type of leadoff hitters that both of these teams have, Tony Womack's on-base percentage was down around the .270 mark. You can't have that as a guy that's going to lead games off for you.
3-0 now to Womack. Morris did pitch out of the bullpen in both the Division Series and the League Championship Series last year. This is his first postseason start, and he has walked Womack on 4 in a row.
And that's hard to do. As we talked about before, Vina only walked 35 times. Womack only walked 23 times all year. You have to try hard to walk him.
Let's take a look at the Cardinals defensively. They'll go with Pujols in left, the Gold Glove winning center fielder Jim Edmonds, and J.D. Drew in right. Polanco, McGuire on the corners, Renteria and Vina up the middle with a battery of Morris and Mike Matheny. Matheny, the Gold Glove winning catcher in the National League last season, as hard to run against as any catcher outside of Ivan Rodriguez in the major leagues, and Morris has gone ball 1 to Steve Finley. Matheny has thrown out 45% of the would-be base stealers this year. Only 55 even tried to steal.
You know, for people that don't understand those type of averages, when you're throwing out almost half of the guys that try to run against you, that is unbelievably good.
And he was over 50% last year, 51% when he won that Gold Glove, his first. Womack, one of the premier base stealers in the major leagues. He led the National League 3 years in a row in stolen bases.
Well, with Morris, with the big overhand curveball, they're going to try to run in those situations if they do it all.
Now that a play by Finley, and Morris ahead 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, if you talk percentages, Womack leads all active players in stolen base percentage, going against those numbers by Matheny. Womack has been successful 83% of the time. So quite a battle here.
You know, I love the lineup changes here for Bob Brenly and the Diamondbacks. Finley hitting second. I think that is a perfect place for him to hit in his lineup, but he has not done that much this year. This is only his 6th at-bat. We only had 6 at-bats during the regular season in the number 2 spot. did not have his best season, did not have a good first half at all. Got sat down for about a week in the middle of the year, and then had a huge second half and is really back to being the type of player that Steve Finley has been over the last 5 seasons.
Bouncing ball down the first baseline, fair into the corner, and Womack on his way to third. Finley in the second. Throw there, he's safe with a double. And here come the Diamondbacks from the get-go.
Big bouncing ball by Finley, just bangs it into the ground in front. You see McGuire just stands there knowing that this ball bounces so far over his head, but watch Finley out of the box. That's a key to a double that you get. Watch how quickly he gets out of the box. He's thinking 2 right now. You don't get a double on a ball if you're not thinking 2 out of the box. And Tony Womack going first to third as well as anybody in the league.
Now Luis Gonzalez, the Cardinals infield, conceding the run. Gonzalez 57 home runs. And he looks at a strike on the inside corner. Gonzalez undoubtedly was the league favorite, if you will, for the most valuable player award. That is until Barry Bonds just kept piling up numbers that haven't been done in about 80 years. Inside 1-1.
Oftentimes in our broadcast this year, Tommy, we talked about the way a pitcher will handle his business out there, the body language. Right now you see Morris walking around the mound, but I think that's a good sign. I think he's been rushing the ball to the plate. He's gotten up there, grabbed the ball, and threw it too often. I think he needs to step back and settle down a little bit.
Good pitch there. Location on the inside corner, knee high, 1-2.
Which is generally the opposite of what we've talked about this year. Usually the body language of a pitcher when he's throwing strikes and he has confidence, he wants to get the ball back and throw it again. But in this case, with the preseason or the postseason jitters here, I think he needs to take a step back.
Gonzalez rolls it foul, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. This has been an area of concern the entire year for Arizona. For a team that won 92 games, they have really struggled with a runner at third and less than 2 men out. Reason? Go figure. Two and 2. Are you surprised they're even pitching to Gonzalez at all rather than load him up for the right-handed batting Sanders?
You know, I think it's early enough in the game. You send a bad message at this point if you walk Gonzalez to load the bases, and then you really break out an inning. Sanders comes up and pops one in a gap. It's 3-0 with nobody out.
2-2 pitch. Fouled, back out of play.
Tony La Russa, we know the type of manager that he is. Loves the numbers of the game. Gonzo just 1 for 9 against Morris as well. Gonzo needs to put the ball in play. It should be the only thing he's thinking.
Which he does not. A swing and a miss, and Morris with a huge out. His first in the opening inning.
Number 16, Reggie Sanders.
Look at the way that Matt Morris pitched to Gonzo. First pitch inside for a fastball. Then he missed with the breaking ball inside. The key is to try to get in on Gonzo. Fouls off the breaking ball. Miss on a slipped breaking ball. Comes back with the fastball. And once again, fastball or curveball down. And that gets Gonzo. Some nice pitches by Morris right there. Very tough at bat for Gonzalez.
Now Reggie Sanders. Hit 33 home runs during the regular season, 90 runs batted in. He began the year on the disabled list, and everybody said, well, here's Sanders goes again. Hurt again. Fouled straight back to the screen. But then once he was activated, in his first 10 games of the year, he set the tone for the kind of year it would be. 7 homers, 14 batted in. Womack at third, Finley at second, 1 out in the opening inning. And popped up. Playable foul territory. McGuire's got it, second out of the inning. And this is what we just talked about a moment ago. The Diamondbacks have really struggled in these situations.
And Tommy, this is a very tentative swing and a great curveball. Look at the big drop on that ball. You see Sanders out in front on his front foot, then almost quits on the swing. For the golf fans out there, guys that decelerate their swing on the way to the ball, they understand how a guy can get out there thinking he's going to swing at it and then almost doesn't put his heart into the rest of it, and that's what you end up with is a weak pop-up.
Now 2 on, 2 out for Mark Grayson. He looks at a breaking ball, strike one. Grace has hit over 300 with runners in scoring position every season since '95.
If Matt Morris can get out of this inning, that would do wonders for the rest of his confidence for the rest of this game.
And it looks like he's going to do it on the ground to McGuire, and Morris had runners at second and third with nobody out. Retires Gonzalez, Sanders, and Grace. No damage done.
The Division Series on Fox, presented by Budweiser, is brought to you by Budweiser with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. And by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
Talk about stepping up. Runners at second and third, nobody out. And Matt Morris stepped up.
A combination of two things. Matt Morris settling down a little bit, finding his rhythm, making some great pitches to Gonzalez, then getting Reggie Sanders to swing at a bad pitch, and then taking care of Grace with 2 outs. But the combination also, as you've mentioned, and as you've seen all season long with the Arizona Diamondbacks, the failure to be able to get guys in with guys in scoring position in less than 2 outs. You have to be able to do that.
So let's see if that gives Tony La Russa's team a lift as it comes to bat in the second inning against Curt Schilling. And it's always a lift when Tony has Albert Pujols as the batter. 329 hitter for the rookie. And he takes a fastball up. 37 home runs, 130 runs batted in. He was the Cardinals' best player in spring training. And then an injury to Bobby Bonilla allowed Pujols to make the regular season squad. And look at the numbers. They don't lie.
Those are gaudy numbers for anybody. This kid's 21 years old and a rookie.
On the ground, at Counsell, who backs up and throws out Pujols. Remember now, the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks played 2 series the first week and a half of the season. They have not played one another since April the 18th. The Cardinals are the only team in the major, in the National League anyway, that hasn't lost to either Schilling or Johnson this season. They beat Johnson twice. They didn't face Schilling at all.
This is a lineup that can swing the bats. There's no question about that. Jimmy Edmonds stepping in the box now, one of the guys that really turned it around. Once again, up over 100 RBIs again. He was off to a dismal first half.
Big breaking ball in there. Strike one to Edmonds. Well, he's had back-to-back monster years since coming over from Anaheim.
They gave him a boatload of money to do it. They saw the talent in him, and then mixed into this lineup has certainly not hurt him.
Edmonds outstanding in the playoffs, as those numbers would certainly indicate last year for the Cardinals. 2-1.
One of the things for the kids at home that are watching the game, if you watch Jimmy Edmonds and watch a lot of players that go to the plate, overstriding can be a big problem for a lot of young kids. Jimmy Edmonds just picks up that front foot and puts it right back down the same spot.
Fouled out of play. Last year in the division series, a 3-game sweep over Atlanta. Game 1, a home run off Greg Maddux. And then Game 3 off Kevin Millwood. And despite not playing in the World Series, Edmonds tied David Justice for the 2000 postseason lead in runs batted in. Justice had one more series to have more than Edmonds.
That's a pretty good 2 series to match up against someone else who has 3. Schilling's doing the classic Schilling move, climb the ladder with the high fastball to the lefties. Hard for lefties to get on top of that pitch.
And there it is. For a strikeout for Schilling, who had 293 of those this season.
A Schilling with a low 90s fastball. You see Miller saying, give it to me up, give it up. The left-hander, so hard to get on top of that pitch. It looks like a good pitch to hit because it's so much closer to your eye level, but it's so tough to get on top of that and put it in play.
Now Mark McGwire in the Cardinal lineup for game 1. Swing and a miss, and he'll see a lot of that. High fastball. McGwire only appeared in 97 games this season, still playing with a very sore right knee. Then he wondered whether Craig Paquette would get a start. 1-1 to McGwire. He's still at 29 home runs, knocked in 64, but only hit 187. And Tony La Russa told us it's been the most agonizing year mentally and physically that McGwire has ever endured.
Schilling in those first few pitches is putting on a clinic right now against McGwire. And you look at the difference in this ball club with and without McGwire. Some people are saying that maybe this team's better without him in the lineup. Classic.
McGwire gone on that high fastball. 6 up, 6 down for Schilling. No score after an inning and a half in Phoenix.
The Division Series on Fox, presented by Budweiser, is brought to you by Radio Shack, official sponsor of Major League Baseball, and by Napa Auto Parts. Napa, we keep America running.
No score as we go to the bottom half of the second inning. Let's bring you up to speed on what will come your way tomorrow. Game 2 of the Division Series here on Fox Family at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific. Atlanta jumping out to a 1-0 lead with a 7-4 win earlier today in Houston. And Game 2 of this series on Fox Family, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, presented by Budweiser. Randy Johnson on the mound for Arizona against Woody Williams. And then on our Fox network, presented by the New York Stock Exchange at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, Game 1 between the Athletics and the Yankees. What a series that should be.
Ooh. Nobody wants a piece of the Oakland Athletics these days.
Matt Williams to lead things off against Matt Morris here in the bottom half of the second inning, and Morris starts him out with a strike. Williams missed 47 games early in the season with a hamstring injury. He's had a good, solid second half. Not the big home run slugger of past seasons, only 16 this year. What a breaking ball there by Morris.
Boy, when you see a veteran player like Matty Williams get jelly-legged right there, he didn't know whether to swing or go back and sit in the dugout on that pitch. You know that's a big breaking 12-6 curveball.
Came right back with another breaking ball, and Williams able to foul it away. Well, the Cardinal people will tell you, hey, we respect Curt Schilling, but don't take anything away from our guy, Matt Morris. He won just as many games as Schilling this season. An ERA only a little bit higher.
I think the key for Morris is how well his sinker is biting. We've seen the great movement on the breaking ball. If he can pinpoint his fastball, get the movement on it, get it to sink, get guys that beat the ball into the ground and get ground ball outs, that'll make his breaking ball that much more effective, and he could be tough all night long.
Morris, the Cardinals' #1 pick, 12th player overall selected in the June '95 draft.
And I like the little cat and mouse game we got going right now. That's the second time Williams has stepped out on him. He's trying to break up Morris's rhythm right now. Morris turned around, walked off the mound. Williams even said to him, hey, I'm not ready yet. Give me a shot here.
Williams able to get a piece of that breaking ball, and boy, when it's working for Morris, that is some kind of pitch. How in the world do you hit that pitch?
Close your eyes and swing hard. I'll tell you what, that's if the guy has a great downer type curveball like that, it's so tough to judge where you're going to make impact with the ball.
Fastball, and Williams able to hang around. Morris, outstanding numbers this season. They thought he would win like this before the serious surgery, the Tommy John surgery back in 1999 that Steve brought up. I mean, he was their #1 pitching prospect. Breaking ball low and in. Williams to be followed in the inning by Craig Counsell and Damian Miller. Swing and a miss on the breaking ball. Second strikeout for Matt Morris.
Well, to use the popular term in the game today, that pitch is filthy right there. You can't hit that pitch. Look at the spin, the super slow-mo right there, the great movement on that ball. From the top of your head to the bottom of your knees by the time you swing at it. I don't want to play when a guy's got that kind of stuff.
We mentioned Polanco, the unsung hero for the Cardinals this season. Craig Counsell has been the unsung hero for Arizona this season. A backup player, figured to back up Jay Bell at second, Womack at short, maybe Williams at third. But got a chance to play very early on and has taken over as the everyday second baseman. He finished the year hitting safely in 25 of his last 27 at a .324 clip. He has just been an outstanding addition to this Arizona team. 2-1.
He's always going to be kind of a streaky type of hitter because through most of his career he hasn't gotten really consistent playing time. And here's a guy who got released by the Dodgers, and I asked him earlier, how does that happen? He said, I was playing in teams that didn't appreciate what I could bring to a ball club.
Bouncing ball back up the middle. Renteria cuts it off, throws on the run in time to get Counsell. Solid play there made by the native Colombian Edgar Renteria.
Now you're talking about some tremendous range when your shortstop can go that far up the middle on the other side of second base, cut the ball off, and have that kind of gun over to first. And then after he throws the ball to first baseman, he can almost shake hands with him. That's some pretty good range.
Damian Miller ducks underneath the breaking ball for Morris. That would be good range.
Yeah.
That's good range for a second baseman, for crying out loud.
It is.
Damian Miller injured his shoulder a couple of weeks ago trying to throw out a runner at second base and missed a lot of playing time. In fact, right up until the final series of the season in Milwaukee. Check swing and a miss, 2-1, and those who see Miller on a regular basis, not only the Diamondbacks people, but scouts on other teams will tell you that he is as underrated a player, not just a catcher, but a player as there is in the major leagues today. He can hit, and he has an outstanding arm.
And most people looked at him as an offensive catcher when he first came around, and they were worried that if he had bad offensive days that he might take that behind the plate with him and not be able to handle the type of staff that the Diamondbacks have. I think he dispelled all those kind of rumors.
2-2 to Miller. Fastball in, and the count has gone full. The pitcher Schilling due up next. Miller figures to get something good to hit here. That'll be the Diamondbacks battery tomorrow afternoon. Johnson and Miller. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball. 3 strikeouts in the game for Morris. We go to the third, no score.
No score here in Phoenix, and we wanted to bring you back to a classic matchup last inning between one of the best pitchers in the game and one of the most prolific home run hitters of any generation. High fastball, nasty curveball, and then back upstairs for the strikeout. Just a classic duel, at least for as far as Schilling is concerned. I think Mark McGwire might think about it a little bit different, but he'll be thinking about that at bat and try to make some adjustments for the next time.
Ladder third here in the Cardinal batting order in the third. Schilling is not allowed a base runner through the first 2 innings. Ball 1 to Edgar Renteria. Renteria, a lot like the Arizona shortstop Womack, had a poor first half. That one swung on and fouled out of play, and then really came around in the second half. Tony La Russa was telling us before the game he thinks this guy's primed and ready to have a big division series.
The new hitting instructor on this team, Mitchell Page, made some adjustments in Renteria's swing. He used to have a big leg kick. There's Mitchell Page right there. Page came in and said, you're not getting to the ball. You're not nearly quick enough to do that. Took that leg kick out of it. gave him a chance to recognize pitches a little bit longer, wait on the ball a little bit longer, and quicken up his swing, a little quicker hands, and it really has worked out well for him.
Schilling ahead at 1-2. Ground ball left side. Williams can't get it. It's into left field. And that'll be a base hit for Edgar Renteria, the first Cardinal base runner of the ball game.
Tough play for any third baseman going to your left knowing that you're going to have to dive. This is tough to get up and throw the guy out even if you glove it. Ball hits off his thumb a little bit. Now you got to get up and try to throw out a very speedy Renteria. He might be safe anyway.
And Renteria, the best Cardinal base stealer they have on the team. He didn't get on base a lot this year, only 17 stolen bases, but he's had stolen base seasons in his career, 41, 37, 32. Fly ball on the first pitch off the bat of the team. He never gave Renteria a chance to run. One away.
Yeah, when you steal 17 bases and only get caught 4 times, you might not be running enough. Take that average any day.
One out, one on. Matt Morris, the batter. 10 of 72 as a hitter this season with 5 runs batted in, had a couple of doubles, and a good bunter. Put down 11 sacrifices.
It's so good to be able to help your cause as a pitcher if you can bunt the ball. Right now in this situation, we know that he should be trying to bunt the ball to the right side of the infield, first base side. We see a lot of major league pitchers make the mistake of bunting the ball to the third base side, right where the third baseman's waiting for it.
Bunted first base side. Nicely done by Matt Morris. Give him the sacrifice. Advancing Renteria into scoring position, 2 away. Pick up the specially marked Mach 3 pack in stores now and get a free limited edition World Series watch inside. Go to Mach3.com for details. You're cleanly shaven for this division series opener, Mr. Lyon, so we're ready to roll.
I Mach 3'd myself.
Now Fernando Vina and Damian Miller going to come out and have a chat with Curt Schilling before these two lock up for the second time in the game. Vina led off the game with a fly ball at Finley in center field. Vina, a better hitter like many of these Cardinals with runners in scoring position. 303 during the regular season, 311 with runners in scoring position, and he looks at a strike. That's the one thing about this Cardinal team, boy. They get guys on base and they get them in.
You're right about that. They get on base.
On the ground at Grace. He'll lead off Schilling, and the inning is over. A leadoff single by Renteria, and he's stranded at second. No score after 2.5. Tom Brenneman, Steve Lyons, our entire Fox family crew in downtown Phoenix, Arizona, and as you would expect, for the middle of October, the weather is just spectacular. Daytime high today in the low 80s. Temperatures expected to drop, oh, maybe into the low 70s. Two of the hottest teams in the entire National League down the stretch having to lock up in the division series. The Cardinals and the Diamondbacks. Curt Schilling down a strike. St. Louis red hot up until that final weekend when they had to settle for the wild card rather than the Central Division Championship, losing 2 out of 3 to Houston. Breaking ball in there, a strike. And the Diamondbacks able to hang on in the West and edge out the San Francisco Giants. That one in the dirt, 1-2 to Schilling.
One of the things I really appreciate about Schilling is that he's pretty forthright about everything he does, including his hitting. He says, I stink. I'm a bad, bad hitter. He's right.
Well, he's trying hard.
If you got a bat in your hand, you can be dangerous.
Not this time.
No.
Schilling will never be confused with three of the men we have in this ballpark. Three guys in one place that hit over 500 home runs. Hall of Famer Frank Robinson, 586. Harmon Killebrew, 6th all-time. He lives here in Phoenix, 573. And right in between them, 5th on the all-time home run list, Mark McGwire. Had some serious thunder in the heart of the order here tonight in Phoenix.
It's not often we do a game where there's more stars in the crowd than you, but they got you whooped tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, outside the guys on the field, you are the biggest star of any place we usually go. Not tonight. Not with that man in the seats.
Breaking ball to Tony Womack away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Womack walked, leading off the Arizona first inning. Went to third on a double by Finley. They were there with nobody out, and Morris able to get out of the jam. He struck out Gonzalez, got Sanders on a foul out to McGwire, and Grace retired to end the inning on a ground ball at McGwire as well.
Well, we talked to La Russa about the defense here. And he said that he thinks McGwire is sound down there at first base. But if I'm the Arizona Diamondbacks, if I'm Womack, if I'm Finley, I test his range over there. I drop a few bunts down that way. I make Fernando Vina come in and try to field some stuff.
Ground ball right at Polanco. And he'll throw out Womack. 2 up, 2 down. Let's go to Jeannie Zelasco in Los Angeles.
Well, Tom, Chipper Jones hit 500 versus the Astros this season, but it is this blast he'll remember most. An 8th inning 3-run home run to pad the lead. The Braves look to take a 2-0 series lead on Wednesday. Follow the whole tournament exclusively on the Fox networks. Tom?
Jeannie, thank you. And both of the favorites getting beat in opening games today. Houston falling to Atlanta, and Cleveland shutting out Seattle 5-0. Who would have thunk it?
Bartolo Colon stepping up and being the ace of that staff, the way the Cleveland Indians had hoped for a few years now.
1-1 to Fenway. Well, perhaps Colon exercising some of those demons from Fenway Park a few years ago when Boston threw 23 runs on the board in a division series game.
Boy, there was a lot of runs scored in that series.
Yeah. High fly ball into right field. Playable out there for J.D. Drew, and Matt Morris has retired 9 in a row. We go to the 4th. Still no score.
The Division Series on Fox, presented by Budweiser, is brought to you by Labor Ready. Dependable temporary labor guaranteed.
No score at the end of 3. No runs, 1 hit, no error. 1 man left on base for St. Louis, and for the Diamondbacks, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. 2 men left. They had runners at 2nd and 3rd with nobody out in the opening inning and failed to score.
As we mentioned, that was the type of inning that may have given Matt Morris a lot more confidence into the playoffs here. We're talking about a guy who has no playoff experience. And hey, I'll tell you what, and I'm not big on that. I think if you play the game, you're a guy like Mark Grace who's been through it a few times, or if you're a guy like Matt Morris who's tremendously talented and had a great year, the experience of playing the game should be enough. I know I get a lot of people that would disagree with me, but hey, you know what? You think Albert Pujols is a rookie right now? No, not a rookie anymore.
Well, look at him, for crying out loud. Does he look like a rookie to you? That's a man.
Throw his numbers up on the screen and you talk about a rookie. He had my entire career in 1 year.
Well, now there's a real surprise.
I knew I should have never gone there.
Here's Polanco. Shows bunt, and Schilling delivers strike 1. Polanco drew, and then Pujols. Here in the Cardinal 4th inning against Curt Schilling. 22 game winners, Schilling and Morris, locking up in game 1 of this division series in Phoenix. Bouncing ball again at Council. And for a second time, he'll throw out Polanco.
One of the most prepared pitchers in the game of baseball, Curt Schilling. He studies opposing hitters. He looks at their at-bats, not only the at-bats where he has faced them, but many, many other at-bats against other pitchers to figure out a game plan and understand how specifically he wants to get guys out.
Outside ball one. Well, like a lot of us, I mean, Schilling, a lot of us aren't computer literate. The opposite could be said of Schilling. He's the president of Multi-Man Publishing, a company that produces board games and war games for Hasbro Games Incorporated. And on team planes, when he's not studying the opposition, he's devising his games on a computer. And you could pick a guy like J.D. Drew and say, okay, well, how have you done against him? And right on a disc, he could pull up and show you the video on his computer. Every single at-bat he has had against J.D. Drew. I mean, he is to pitching, as far as the video era is concerned, that Tony Gwynn has been to hitters.
And oftentimes we talk about the dedication that it takes to be great. Some guys just aren't willing to be that dedicated. Curt Schilling was one of those guys early in his career until Roger Clemens grabbed him and said, you know what, you're way too good for the success that you've had so far in your career, which isn't good, when he was a young pitcher. And after that conversation, Schilling decided that he would dedicate himself in every respect to the game of baseball. And boy, what a difference.
3-1 to Drew, and it's ball four. Schilling wanted the call and didn't get it from Randy Marsh, and Schilling staring in there wondering where the pitch missed. Schilling has never seen Albert Pujols. We asked Schilling about facing this rookie phenom yesterday.
He's probably the guy that I'm looking at most right now because I've never seen him before. So watching some games that have been pitched against him recently, see how he's swinging the bat, and getting a feel for him, and talking to our advanced scouts, and formulating the game plan today and tonight for him is going to be a key.
Well, Schilling retired him on a ground ball to second his first time up. Pujols' first pitch swing. Fly ball right at Reggie Sanders. 2-3 steps to his left, 2 away. Apparently the scouting report on Schilling as far as Pujols is concerned, Albert figuring he better come after something early in a count rather than falling behind. Not taking a lot of time to see much that Schilling has to offer.
No, and Schilling right there just buried him up and in, and what a great, I mean, that's a big out right there. A big out, number 2 in this inning, when you're facing one of the most productive players in that lineup with a guy on. As we mentioned earlier, he cannot afford to get hurt by a long ball with guys on base.
Now Jimmy Edmonds, he struck out his first time up. Ball 1 away.
And I say that for 2 reasons. You know, we all don't want to give up 3-run homers. Jim Palmer made a career of giving up home runs, but with nobody on. Solo shots, they never hurt him that bad. But when you're playing for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they have a history of it as being a team that doesn't score as many runs for you as you'd like, you can't afford to be giving up 2- and 3-run home runs when your team isn't going to score very many.
That one away to Edmonds, 2-0, and this is a guy who's more than capable of making it a 2-0 ball game with one big swing of the bat. A good hitter's count for a good hitter in Edmonds, 2-0. And you get the feeling that maybe Schilling wouldn't be all that upset about putting Edmonds on.
Not at all. Right now he's in a position where he's not going to give him anything good to hit with the 3-0 count. Doesn't care to walk him. Just buried McGuire last time, and he'll stay up in the zone to McGuire again this time.
Right down the middle. 3-1.
That surprises me on 2 accounts. Number 1, that he'd throw a pitch that good to hit, and number 2, that Edmonds wasn't coming out of his shoes to hit it.
That's something that Barry Bonds told us. He said that you always have to be ready. It doesn't matter what the count is, even if you think a guy's pitching around you. Be ready to hit, because he might throw you a strike.
Especially with him, when he'd see 18 pitches in a game and only 3 strikes all day.
Swing and a miss. challenging with a 94-mile-per-hour fastball on 3-1.
Once again, up in the zone, this ball up and away from Edmonds. We talked about his first at-bat where he struck out, how tough it was. Look at the angle of that fastball. That's the old good country hardball right there.
Fouled away on a 3-2 with Drew on the run, and we'll do it again.
I'll tell you, Tommy, right here, even with the count the way it is and the way he's battled back, I'd throw a split finger or a breaking ball here. I still don't care if I miss, but I think now I have Edmonds in a little bit more of an aggressive mode. If I throw him something off speed, I think he may chase.
Swing with a fastball, strike 3 called, and Edmonds can't believe it. Schilling just rearing back and playing that good old country hardball. Fell behind 3-0. And then 3 straight strikes.
And take a look at the pitch that struck out Jimmy Edmonds. Miller wanted the ball away, but he got it in here instead. That's why it looked so bad. But look at where he actually catches the ball. And Marsh, the home plate umpire, has an excellent view of it. Maybe too close to take, as Bob Brenly, you hear his reaction of the strike 3 call.
Boy, Brenly, a very clever guy. There was nothing clever about that. Yeah!
Sometimes you just let the emotions go.
Yes, indeed. Now Gonzalez. He struck out with a runner at third and nobody out in the opening inning. He leads off here in the 4th. And he takes the fastball from Matt Morris high and away. Down the right field line towards the corner is Drew with room. One away, a big out for Morris. Now we have a moment. Here's today's RadioShack.com trivia question. Who was the last manager to advance to the World Series in his first major league season? Give you a little bit of time to think about that. Bob Brenly, of course, hoping that he would be the answer to that same question this time next year. Reggie Sanders takes high, ball 1. Bob Brenly, only the 4th manager since 1980 to lead a team to a divisional championship in his first year as manager. The last, another guy who left the broadcast booth to come down onto the field, Larry Dierker in Houston. Sanders came to the plate in the opening inning, like Gonzalez, with runners at second and third, although Sanders stepped up there with 1 out, and he fouled out to Mark McGwire. Matt Morris has not allowed a single man to reach base since that double by Finley.
They are doing some serious game plan now. Sanders stepping out again. It's about the 3rd or 4th time one of the Diamondback hitters have stepped out on Morris.
Nasty breaking ball again by Morris, and he has that working tonight.
That's the equalizer. Step out on me all you want, because when you got to step back in there, I got something for you.
Right.
It's dangerous to throw that breaking pitch, even as good as it is, to a guy like Sanders, who's at the point in his career where people have started to say that he has a slider speed type of bat. Good hard fastball you can throw by him these days. If you hang a breaking ball or you don't get that good fastball up there, he'd take you deep like he did this year 33 times. Career high in home runs.
Well, the Diamondbacks took a flyer on Sanders, who had an injury-plagued, miserable season last year in Atlanta. There's a breaking ball, and Sanders grounds it fair into the corner. And Sanders on his way to second base. And a big turn at second for Sanders. A throw back in there, and it gets away, and Sanders advances on to third. He'll stop right there. What a huge mistake that was for the Cardinals. McGuire came over to cover the bag, and rather than Pujols throwing the ball back into the shortstop, he throws to second base. A rookie mistake.
I don't know. I like that play. I got to tell you, Tommy, bad result because it hit the runner, but you see Sanders with the ball down the line, umpire hustling down there. Watch Pujols now. I mean, Sanders comes around second base very aggressively. Here he comes. He keeps coming out there. Pujols sees it. They sneak in behind him. They almost had him right there. The ball bounces off of Sanders' legs and goes into right field. Sanders gets up and goes to third. I like the aggressiveness. I'm not so sure it was a bad play, just a bad result.
Well, that's what Tony La Russa told us before the game. He said, as a manager, it's a great move when it works. It's a horrible move when it doesn't.
You end up with a guy on third base with one out instead of just on second.
And the infield in for Grace, and he takes high and away, ball one.
There's the throw into second, just off the line. You got McGuire covering second base. I like the aggressiveness of both teams on that play. Sanders very aggressive around second base, looking to see if there was going to be a play made, looking to see if maybe Pujols bobbles the ball out there. Pujols comes up firing into second, saying, oh, you got out there a little bit too far, and you end up on third.
3-0 to Mark Grace.
Take a look at it again. Pujols up. He almost put a little deke on him like he was going to go to third and then went into second with it.
3-0 to Grace, and it's ball four high and away. You can see Morris was not going to pitch to Grace, a good contact hitter. With Williams, whom he struck out his first time up in the on-deck circle. And, of course, Williams now at the plate with a runner at first, and maybe they're thinking double play ball.
Absolutely. Morris is a ground ball type of pitcher with the hard sinker and the big breaking ball. They're hoping they could get Matt Williams to roll one over to Polanco down at third base. Grounded into 15 double plays this year, and as you mentioned, missed a lot of time.
Middle infield, a double play depth. Anything on the corners, they may come to the plate. And Williams looks at a fastball strike on the inside corner. Second scoring chance of the game for Arizona against Morris.
I would think Morris is going to try hard stuff in, breaking balls away.
There's a hard stuff in, 1-1.
The theory behind that is to try to get in on Williams' hands, try to jam him a little bit so that he can't power the ball out of the park, so that he maybe rolls over on the ball and hits a weak ground ball for a double play, or try to get him to reach for a breaking ball so that he does basically the same thing, rolls over and hits a ground ball to the left side.
Fastball high and outside to Williams. 2 balls and a strike. Morris wants a new baseball. Game 1, such a critical game in any postseason series. And the Cardinal people will tell you maybe even more so for their team, knowing that if you fall behind 1-0, Randy Johnson's coming tomorrow. He rolled over a breaking ball, pulled it foul, did Williams, 2-2.
That's a pretty good excuse-me swing right there for Matt Williams to stay alive. Not a great swing, no question about that. But that's one of those big curveballs we talked about. Let him balance, then he gets out in front just a little bit on the breaking ball, but he stays alive. Good hitters foul those pitches off and get to the point where they can get a mistake to hit. Bad hitters look at that pitch, swing at it, go sit down with a strikeout.
And now the cat and mouse game again continuing between Williams and Morris. Morris backing off the rubber after Williams asked for time. Sanders at third, Grace at first, 1 away. 2-2 to Williams. Struck him out with a breaking ball. Morris at his best when he's been in trouble so far tonight.
Especially when he relaxes and steps away from it. Here's the pitch sequence to Williams. 2 straight fastballs. Then a fastball away just to get him thinking out there. The breaking ball that he rolls over. And then an awesome breaking ball right there for strike 3. And that pitch is unhittable right now when he throws it in the location that he wants it. You're looking at Matt Williams, and Matt Williams goes back to the bench, and sure, he's disappointed, but sometimes as a hitter, you just don't have a chance.
Now Craig Counsell, who bounced out on an outstanding play made by Renteria back up through the middle in the second inning. Breaking ball in there, a strike.
The key here for Morris is to not relax when you seemingly get yourself to the point in the order where maybe you think you should get this guy out. Craig Counsell's not going to roll over for you. You got to keep the intensity right here and get through this inning.
0-2 to Counsell. Matt Morris pitched out of a second and third, nobody out situation in the very first inning. With runners at first and third and one out here in the fourth, he struck out Williams, and now he's ahead of Counsell, 0-2. Fastball away. Well, you never know that this is Matt Morris's first postseason start.
And between these two guys, Morris and Schilling, I don't know that I've seen a better first part of a game between two pitchers than we've done all year long.
On the ground at McGuire, and the inning is over. So Morris gets out of trouble in the fourth. We go to the fifth, still no score. No one knows Mark McGuire better than Tony La Russa. He's managed him 14 out of his 15 years in the big leagues. What kind of year has it been for Big Mac?
It isn't the Mark we know, that this guy has had to dig so deep mentally to deal with the embarrassment, to deal with the not being 100% right, and somehow he's been dangerous enough to generate some very clutch numbers.
And that's a dangerous pitch right there from Schilling to McGuire. McGuire is a low ball hitter. Book on McGuire, the way to get him up and in, throw the ball up the ladder like Schilling did the last time. If you get the ball down around his knees, around the mid-thigh, McGuire can hit the ball a long way, and we've seen that plenty of times.
Swing and a miss, came right back to the off-speed pitch, had McGuire way out in front. And you got to figure now, here comes the high heat, right?
The high fastball. He might drop a split finger down away from him, try to get him to chase, but I think he relishes this high fastball right here. Get it up.
And here it comes. And quite a hearty cut there by McGuire. He didn't miss that by much.
And Tony La Russa will tell you that Mark McGuire is a low ball hitter, but he makes great adjustments. Look at him on his back leg. That's been McGuire's problems all year long. It's the back right knee that's the painful knee. He can't back leg the ball the way he normally does. Gets him to jump a little bit more.
Swing and a miss, and there's a high fastball. 97 from Curt Schilling, and Big Mac gone swinging for the second straight at bat.
That's the kind of pitcher that Schilling is. Sure, he could have bounced a splitter or something, but this is like a big challenge for him. He loves this kind of stuff. Here's my best fastball up in the zone. Can you go get it, Mark?
That's why you look, Schilling only has 4 strikeouts in the game. 2 against Edmonds, 2 against McGuire. All on high fastball. And now Renteria. Swung on and fouled back out of play.
It would be so much fun to be that good, to be able to play a game within the game, to say, look, there's plenty of options that I could do here, but what would be the most fun for me? What is my greatest challenge to strike you out with? Blowing you away with a high fastball. That's what the game is about.
That one lined down the right field line and out of play, and it's 0-2 on Renteria.
I think Schilling has the idea that baseball, that the players on the field might not respect him as much if he throws a splitter up there and gets him to strike out on a ball down in the dirt. It's almost like, hey, you didn't challenge anybody. He will take the challenge. He loves it.
Here comes the 0-2. In the air, well hit, deep left center field. Finley on the run at the wall, and it's up against the wall. Renteria motors in with a stand-up double. So as good as Schilling has been against Edmonds and McGuire, Renteria is 2 for 2.
Here's a pitch right here. We talk about location. That's pretty much where Schilling wanted to pitch it. Renteria just bailed and wailed a little bit. Schilling saying, don't get out of here. Do not get out of this ballpark. Watch Steve Finley. Does a great job backing off of that ball, playing the carom, and turning it around and getting it in. Renteria's watching Finley all the way, waiting for him to make a mistake. He says, that guy knows how to play center field. There will be no triples.
Now Matheny, he swung at the first pitch his first time up and lifted a fly ball at Reggie Sanders. Well, he chases the first pitch again, and he's down a strike. Matheny and then Morris. The Cardinals only have 2 hits against Schilling, and both of them belong to the man at second base, Edgar Renteria.
Schilling knows the importance of this out right here with the pitcher due up next. Tell you what, though, we watched batting practice yesterday with these Cardinal pitchers that came out and hit early. Whoa, you guys can swing the bats a little bit. I know it's batting practice and they're putting it on a tee for you, but I know a lot of pitchers in the National League that can't hit the ball out of the infield if their son was throwing to them.
0-1. And it's outside of the low. Ball and a strike to Matheny.
Darryl Kyle was going way deep. Morris deep. Bennett, some of these guys, and there are horses on this team.
Oh, yeah, they could field an outstanding offensive line, this Cardinal pitching staff. Runner at second base. Swing and a miss. Schilling again, pulling the string on a Cardinal batter. 1-2 on Matheny.
The sharpness of the breaking pitches that we're seeing from both these guys today are amazing. And a lot of people would tell you that that pitch right there is a splitter. And Schilling will use the splitter more than his slider and his curveball, but that one certainly acted like a slider.
On the ground, and Matt Williams, he backs up, plants, throws on the bunny to Grace, 2 away, and Renteria stays put. Time for our answer to our RadioShack.com trivia question. Who was the last manager to advance to the World Series in his first Major League season? And the answer is Jim Fry with the Kansas City Royals in 1980. Fry, of course, would later lead as general manager the Chicago Cubs into the postseason. Now Matt Morris with a runner at second base, 2 men out. And Morris wants time out. He's seen enough guys do that to him up there.
You're darn right. That's exactly why he did it. Let me see if I can mess up your rhythm a little bit.
Foul out of play down the right field line. Morris put down the sacrifice, advancing Renteria into scoring position back in the 3rd inning. The Cardinals have had only 3 base runners in the game. 2 hits by Renteria and a 1-out walk in the 4th inning to J.D. Drew.
You know, I think right now, as you look at the defensive alignment with the Diamondbacks, I believe the outfielders are playing too deep for Morris. With a feeble hack like that, even if you hit it, you're not going to hit it very far. You need the opportunity. This is not a time where it's like Edmonds up there, and if he hits a base hit with 2 outs, it's almost an sure, it's a sure run. Renteria runs well. He doesn't have to worry about anybody catching the ball. He's going to get a great jump at the crack of the bat. But with your pitcher up there, he's not going to do a lot of damage. Play a little more shallow in case he does get a hit. You can throw someone out.
0-2 misses into Morris. A ball and 2 strikes. These two have pitched brilliantly here tonight in Game 1 of the National League Division Series. Schilling a 22-game winner. Morris a 22-game winner. And nothing but goose eggs through the first 4 here tonight. Through the first 4 and a half here tonight.
A little taste of your own medicine there, Mr. Morris.
The Division Series on Fox, presented by Budweiser, is brought to you by Budweiser. With the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. By MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. And by the United States Air Force.
No score as Arizona comes to bat here in the bottom half of the 5th inning against Matt Morris.
We talk about different pitches all the time. That's what a split finger looks like out of the hand of Curt Schilling. You see the 2 fingers gripping the ball on the outside of it with that ball jammed in his fingers, the tumbling action. And what does it do to you when you're at the plate? Look at that thing just falling off the table. And everyone says, how can you swing at a pitch that's in the dirt like that? Well, because when you swing at it, it's up there. And then when you're done swinging at it, it's down there. Nasty, nasty pitch.
Schilling due up second here in the Arizona 5th. Damian Miller to lead it off, then back to the top of the order in Tony Womack. No runs, 2 hits, 1 error for St. Louis. The Cardinals have left 3 men on base. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 failures for Arizona. Runners at second and third in the opening inning. Nobody out failed to score. Runners on the corners, 1 out in the 4th inning. Failed to score. A fastball to Damian Miller for Morris, strike 1.
Talked about the development of Damian Miller as a catcher behind the plate. And what an excellent example with Matheny sitting right behind him. You remember last year and even this year, Matheny did not have an excellent offensive season.
And that one hit Damian Miller. That could turn out to be a costly mistake for Morris. We'll see, of course, how the inning plays out. But with a pitcher coming up, now Schilling a chance to butt him over.
Was trying to get down inside and have that sinker run in on him, but it ran way too far off the plate and caught him on the belt buckle. So Sam Matheny only hit .218 this year, about the same last year, but everyone was talking about him when he got his finger cut and missed the playoffs, that he was the MVP of the squad.
Schilling taking a look down at Chris Spire, Bob Brentley's third base coach. Spire, of course, a 20-year veteran, former San Francisco Giant All-Star. Schilling has put down 14 sacrifices this year. Stabbed at that one and missed it, a ball and a strike.
Well, you see the form of a pitcher when he goes to try to bunt the ball. He gets squared around, bat handle up. I like the balance, and then just went kind of after a bad pitch there a little bit and stabbed at it. The best way to describe bunting a baseball is catching it with your bat. Nice move by Morris right there. Wasn't sure what Schilling was going to do. Faked the bunt early, pulled it back. Morris stood and waited to see if Schilling would commit again, and then finally stepped off.
1-1. Schilling again stabs and misses. Schilling behind 1-2.
Bunt him again. Drop it down one more time.
And a bunt by Morris. McGuire will underhand to the covering Polanco. And Schilling may be limping a bit as he went through the first base bag after putting down the sacrifice.
You know, Tom, I watched him on the on-deck circle kind of walking funny like he was favoring his hip. But with 2 strikes, he does a good job of getting that bunt down. Now you see him lumbering down to first base. That doesn't look good. A little late bunt does the job. There's a definite little limp in that gait. I saw him kind of messing around with his hip and kind of trying to stretch it out a little bit earlier while he was on the on-deck circle.
Tony Womack now the batter with a runner in scoring position, 1 away. Well, Schilling was bothered by a tender hip very early in the year. It's been a long time, however, since he's had any trouble with it. Paul Lassard, the Arizona trainer, over there to talk with Curt Schilling. Breaking ball sails high and away. 1-1 to Womack, who's drawn a walk and bounced out to third base. We'll keep an eye on Schilling. Nobody getting loose in the Arizona bullpen. There you get a look. Womack, a fly ball into left field. Playable out there for Pujols. 2 down in the inning. And while we have a moment, let's take a look at our MasterCard fan cam. Alice Cooper, a regular. Haven't seen Alice here tonight. Steve Finley takes high, ball 1. He's generally just about at every game.
Unless he's working somewhere, you know he's here.
Oh, yeah.
Big fan of the game, big sports fan, period.
Runner at second base, Damian Miller, 2 down. Finley 1 of 2 in the game. Pulls that one down the line, but foul. Just a long, noisy strike. See the Diamondbacks failing with runners in scoring position. Only twice have the Cardinals had a man reach second base through the first 5 innings. Breaking ball away. Morris wanted the call, didn't get it. 2-1 to Finley. Miller at second base and Luis Gonzalez in the on-deck circle.
Finley told me that one of the reasons why he struggled so much in the first half was because of his broken hand that happened to him last September. Never really healed fully.
And here's a base hit into center field. Miller around third. Here comes a throw to the plate, cut off. And Finley is broken through for Arizona.
And that is exactly what Finley wasn't able to do earlier in the season. He said he could not stay inside the baseball and then explode through it at the last minute. He'd be jamming himself. Watch him stay inside, then explode from the side. Keep your hands inside the baseball. When his hand was hurting, he would just flip at that ball, pop it up into left field. He has the strength now to stay with the swing, keep the swing inside the baseball, and then release through the ball up the middle. Perfect example of what's been the difference for him in the second half.
Now Luis Gonzalez. Miller, we mentioned earlier, could have been a huge moment for Morris. It's turned out to be the case. He hits the number 8 hitter leading off the inning, which allowed Schilling to bunt him to second base. Finley with a 2-out run scoring single, 1-0 Diamondbacks. Gonzalez is 0 for 2. Fastball on the outside edge, a strike call.
When you hit guys and when you walk guys, particularly against teams that don't manufacture runs that well on their own, you're giving them the opportunity to do that.
High fly ball into deep right center field. Edmonds at the wall. He leaps and he got it. Edmonds takes it away from Gonzalez to end the inning. I'm not sure it would have been enough, but Edmonds climbing the wall and crashing hard into the wall in right center field. Finley, a run-scoring single. Edmonds prevents more than that. 1-0 Arizona.
The Division Series on Fox is presented by Budweiser. Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you.
There's Jimmy Edmonds after the play that he made against Luis Gonzalez, bidding for his 58th home run of the year. You see Edmonds get back there, and then he jumped. That wall's only about 8 feet high. Edmonds may not have had to jump for that ball. It would have stayed in the yard. He hit the wall a little bit awkwardly. And then Matt Morris evoking the visions of Tug McGraw with the old, oh my goodness, my heart's pumping right there.
You know, his son's a lot more famous than he is.
He can sing, too.
Yes, he can. Top of the order for the Cardinals. A big inning for St. Louis. Top of the 6th, 1-0 Schilling and the Diamondbacks. Well, you wouldn't expect anything different from Jim Edmonds, or for that matter, Steve Finley. Both Gold Glove winners last season. Edmonds 3 of those in his career. And Finley trying to butt his way on. He's behind 0-2.
Now Matt Williams had that bunt sniffed out long before Vina made the attempt. I like it, though. Those are the kind of things. Vina will make things happen at the top of the order. Drop down a bunt, slash a ball down the line.
0-2. Vina gone swinging in the bat. All the way into foul territory out by Dave McKay, and that's Schilling's 6th strikeout of the game.
Do not let that split-fingered fastball start heating up for Curt Schilling. Once again, down in the dirt. There goes the bat. Look out, everybody. Can't hit it if you don't have it in your hands, I don't think.
Now Polanco, and he takes on the outside corner of strike. Macedo twice has bounced out to the second baseman, Craig Counsell.
And watch the adjustments that Schilling makes. Twice he buried Polanco inside so that he couldn't go the other way. Now he starts him off with a breaking ball away, making adjustments as he goes.
Bottom fell out of that pitch for Schilling. And again, a split finger, and it's 0-2.
Splitter again here from Schilling. Unhittable. I mean, even from that angle right there, you think it's going to be a strike. You're saying, why wouldn't I swing at that ball? Until it rolls off the end of a table.
Swing and a foul tip. Back to the screen, it's 0-2. And if Schilling was indeed injured while putting down that bunt in the bottom half of the 5th inning, you'd never know it by watching his stuff so far here in the top of the 6th. Throwing nothing but strikes. He's not thrown a ball in this inning. That was a ball out of the strike zone, but Polanco fouling it away.
We are seeing two guys throw textbook type games today. Watch and learn from these guys.
Swing and a miss again. A split finger just falls off that proverbial table. Schilling has struck out 3 in a row. He has 7 in the game.
Just nasty, Tommy. I mean, so hard to lay off, and just unbelievable break on that.
Our in-game box score brought to you by ExxonMobil. Goose eggs for everybody in the Cardinal lineup except Renteria, who is 2 for 2. The only other man to reach was a walk to J.D. Drew in the 4th inning. Oh, and 1 to Drew. Fastball missed. Schilling wanted the call. So did the crowd.
That's because they're not used to throwing any balls up there that aren't called strikes or swung at.
You brought up Schilling and his precision control. The numbers are staggering. They'll be even more staggering tomorrow for Randy Johnson. But if you throw in the 7 strikeouts tonight for Schilling and 1 walk tonight by Schilling, he has struck out 300 batters and walked 40. Just off the outside corner. Schilling really upset with that call. 3-1.
I think one of the reasons that Schilling is so successful is that people will talk about pitchers having to change the eye angle of the hitters. Schilling doesn't really do that. You see the same thing all the time. You see the same release point. So he's not changing your eye angle as a hitter, but at the same time, he's riding a fastball up in the zone, and then he's throwing that split finger that's way down in the zone, and you're seeing a huge difference of where the ball's coming in.
3-2. Lined into center field. Finley is there, inning over. 1-2-3 for Schilling. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 1-0 Arizona. Well, get yourself ready for 13 nights of creepy movies, 13 nights of real ghost stories, and 13 nights of haunted places. It's the 13 days of Halloween, beginning October 19th, right here on Fox Family.
You starred in a few of those creepy movies, didn't you?
I used to date a few of them. Time for our Speed Pass in-game box score. Don't laugh, you did too. Brought to you by ExxonMobil. And you get a look at, obviously, more men on base for Arizona. The Diamondbacks have stranded 5. And really right now, I'm sure that Tony La Russa would be the first to tell you he's happy that it's only a 1-0 deficit.
No question about it. I mean, Matt Morris has found himself in a little bit of trouble. Couldn't get out of the trouble that Steve Finley inflicted on him there with the base hit that scored the run. But then Morris, for the most part in this game, doing an outstanding job of pitching his way out of trouble.
Well, here we go in the Diamondbacks' 6th inning. It'll be Reggie Sanders, Mark Grayson, and Matt Williams. Sanders, 1 of 2, is doubled. His last at bat in the 4th inning. And he fouled out to McGuire with a runner at 3rd and 1 out in the opening inning. You brought it up at the time. Surprised that Morris would throw breaking balls to Sanders. And that's what he hit down the line for the double. Get a look at the pitch count for Matt Morris. Came with a fastball there. Broke Sanders' bat. And he's retired.
That's just your classic jam sandwich pitch right there. Good, hard, sinking fastball in on the hands. Watch this ball just barrel in on Sanders, and that's a get-off-me ball. The determination in the eyes of Morris. See the movement in towards Sanders, and he's going to have to go get himself a new piece of lumber.
Now Mark Gracie takes inside ball 1. We talked about the Cardinals. Since August the 9th, the only team that was better than St. Louis, the Oakland Athletics. That one fouled out of play. The Cardinals won 36 of their last 50 games to reach the playoffs. And they were led by the pitching staff. They had the best ERA in the National League over the last 2 months of the season. So good pitching tonight should come as no surprise. 2-1 to Grace.
Well, the addition of Woody Williams and also what Bud Smith did for these guys. There's some big discrepancies in the numbers there.
That one lined into right. It'll go to the wall. Grace on his way to second base, and he'll pull up there with a 1-out double. Grace, who had more hits and more doubles than any player in the major leagues during the decade of the 1990s.
Grace said, forget about you throwing away from me. I'm going to go out and hook this ball in right field. And that's what he does. That's a pitch sinking away from him. Dove out over the plate a little bit, got out in front of that thing, and just hoodwinked it over there in the right field. Not sure what that means exactly, but that's what he did.
You sold it, though.
Yes, thank you.
Sounded good.
I had him going.
At Meagle, here's Matt Williams. He has struck out twice on that pitch right there. I'm not sure we've seen a better overhand curveball. I know Darryl Kyle is the guy that everybody thinks of with that curveball, but I'm not sure we've seen one in person this year better than the one Morris has tonight.
Breaking pitches in general from both pitchers. Now, when you talked about Mark Grace, forget about the numbers that he throws up for this team. I think one of the greatest attributes that he brings is his sense of humor to this ball club.
Well, out of play, 1 and 2.
You talk about a guy, Bob Brenly, taking over as a new manager, a young manager, who was taken over for a guy who was very stringent in the way that he ran this team. It was going to be a breath of fresh air anyway for the ball club, but then to bring Grace in too, to loosen things up, veteran leadership and a sense of humor, tremendous difference.
1-2 to Williams. Fastball just off the corner. Morris wanted that call. Hung his head after Randy Marsh said outside. Wow.
Threw it right where he wanted to, that's for sure.
Breaking ball, grounded foul. Well, Randy Marsh has been consistent. With Curt Schilling on the mound against the left-handed batters, he's not given Schilling the call on the outside corner. And the same thing here with a right-handed batter. Morris trying to go away.
And I think Matt Williams right now, or at least up until this point, was absolutely sitting on a breaking ball. And that's why he couldn't pull the trigger on that fastball away. And if he still is sitting on one, I think you want to go back to that fastball away again.
Came with a breaking ball. Williams fouled it off his face. And Williams down on one knee. Bob Brenly, Matt Williams' former teammate, of course, in San Francisco. Now his manager, along with Paul Lassard, the manager, coming out.
Well, the only way you foul this ball off your face is when you get out in front of yourself. See Matty going out there, got out in front of that ball. It was a breaking ball. He wants his balance to be about there, but now he's sliding, going out to try to get it, and then bip. I'm pretty sure that doesn't feel good.
And I know what Bob Brenly's thinking right now. Brenly was behind the plate when Tom Browning, remember him through a perfect game, 20-game winner for Cincinnati?
Yep.
Back in 1990, and
used to sit across the street when they go to Wrigley.
That's right.
In his uniform.
He bounced a ball like that off the plate. It came back up and hit him in the nose. Bob Brenly was a catcher. Split his nose wide open. And they stitched him up right in the box, and Browning stayed in the game.
That's tough. You know, I think the first thing you're looking for right there is that ball bounces off of Matty's face is blood. You're thinking that ball jumps up and cuts you. And at the very least, some swelling. You don't want him to be swelling up right now around his eyes while he's up there trying to hit.
A little fastball line hard into right. But J.D. Drew is there. He makes a catch, tagging and advancing on to third is Mark Grace. 2 down in the inning. Let's send it back to Jeannie Zalasko.
Tom, 116 wins got the Mariners into the record books, but today they were history. Ellis Burke's solo shot gave Cleveland the 5-0 lead and the eventual shutout. Game 2 of the AL Division Series Thursday. Follow the whole tournament exclusively on the Fox networks.
Matt Williams an 0 for 3 night. Hit the ball hard there. And now it's Craig Counsell.
Great time for a bunt right here. Take the ball with you, bunt it towards the second baseman, Vina.
High and away, ball 1.
Fernando Vina playing fairly deep as a second baseman. When you're bunting the ball to the right side as a hitter, you're trying to bunt the ball in this area here, try to make the second baseman come in and field it. If you can get the pitcher to take one step towards it, there he goes, too. You've got him beat. If the pitcher thinks he can field the ball and you get it past him, then you can beat him to first base. The second baseman has to run towards the ball almost as far as you're running to first base, and you can almost walk to first base with a base hit. I love a 2-out bunt with a guy on third.
1-1. Breaking ball and a beauty by Morris. Strike 2.
Look at the sharpness of that breaking ball. Wow.
Runner at third, 2 away, and a 1-2 to Craig Counsell. Fastball outside. 1-0 Arizona in front. A 2-out single to center field in the Diamondbacks' 5th inning by Craig Counsell scored Damian Miller. And that's been it. Here's a 2-2. Swing and a miss. Or did he get a piece? He got a piece.
Beautiful, beautiful pitching. Just come back there with a 2-2 count to have the guts, not only with your catcher back behind the plate, but for the pitcher to be able to bounce a breaking ball in that situation to get him swinging at it.
Line into left field, foul. And out of play, we'll do it again.
And now I believe he'll come back with that breaking ball in the dirt. You got a lot of confidence in your catcher, Matheny, that if Counsell doesn't swing at it, that Matheny blocks the ball. You got a guy on third base, and you're already down there in this game 1-0.
Fly ball, left field, playable for Pujols. It was a breaking ball, and that'll end the inning. Heart of the order coming up for the Cardinals. Pujols, Edmonds, and McGuire against Schilling. 1-0 Diamondbacks.
The Division Series on Fox, presented by Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you.
Fly ball by Albert Pujols on the first pitch again against Curt Schilling. This one leading off the 7th. One pitch, one big out.
Now, someone must have told Pujols that opponents hit 429 against Schilling if they swing at the first pitch, but I'll tell you what, you cannot go 3 at-bats and have seen only 3 pitches against a guy like Schilling. At least get up there and see what he's got. Give yourself a chance.
All right, here's Jim Edmonds. He has struck out swinging and was upset when he struck out looking in the 4th. Strike 1 on the outside corner. Schilling has only allowed 2 hits, and both of them came off the bat of Edgar Renteria. Single in the 3rd inning, a double in the 5th. The only other Cardinal to reach base in the game was a 1-out walk in the 4th to J.D. Drew. Swing and a miss on the Schilling breaking ball, and it's 0-2 to Edmonds.
Well, we're going to start to sound like a broken record here, but gotta think he's going to climb the ladder again, huh? High fastballs, split fingers. He probably will not see another pitch that's actually a strike in this at-bat.
Not sure where there, either the split or the slider. But it bounces up there, and it's 1-2 to Edmonds. We'll look into Damian Miller. They're coming with a fastball to Edmonds on the 1-2. And that ball launched into right center field. Finley on the run. He's not going to get it. It's against the wall. And Edmonds with a stand-up double with 1 away. The tying run at second base.
Pitchers will often talk about the mistakes they make during a ball game and the mistakes that hurt them. This is a pitch that's not in the area that Schilling wanted. He wants that ball up a little bit higher, but also give credit to Edmonds for making the adjustment. Man, he backlegs the ball, doesn't he? All that weight on his backside when he releases that bat. Give some credit for Edmonds to going up the ladder and going to get that pitch.
McGuire first pitch swing, a 2-hopper down to Williams, who looks Edmonds back to the bat. And now decision time, perhaps, for Curt Schilling. Taboo in baseball to put the go-ahead run on base, but now Damian Miller going to trot out and visit with Schilling. You have a base open. The Cardinals have 3 hits, and Renteria has 2 of them.
Well, you've talked a lot about Miller and how much better a catcher that he has become, and that's a veteran move right there, to go out and talk to your pitcher, say, look, this is the only guy in the lineup that's hurt us so far. We're in a situation where we need an out. But look who's coming up next. Matheny hasn't swung the bat all that well. Maybe we just change our idea of how to get this guy out, but I want to be on the same page with you.
First pitch fastball, and Renteria looks at a strike. Schilling still throwing hard here in the 7th. He's just now reached the 80 pitch mark. Morris well over 100, and he hasn't even gotten the ball in the bottom of the 7th inning yet.
Oh.
0-2. So now Schilling trying to retire Renteria for the first time in the game, nursing a 1-0 lead here in the 7th inning.
And I don't think he messes around here. We talked about the way he would challenge McGuire. I think he goes here to the split finger and get rid of him. High fastball. High fastball at 98 miles an hour. Setup pitch, though. High gas, split finger.
Tying run at second. And there is a split finger smothered by Damian Miller, preventing Edmonds from advancing 2-2. Fouled off of the third baseline. We'll do it again. Team with an off-speed pitch there on 2-2.
Got so many weapons.
And now Miller again going to come out to make sure he's on the same page with Schilling. Only 3 times in the game, including Edmonds now, have the Cardinals gotten a runner to second base. So when you mix up the signs, better make sure the catcher knows the pitch that's coming.
We all know in this game that players are smart enough to try to relay signals back to the hitter if they get a chance to do that. And that's considered the one time where it's actually okay to do that.
Swing and a miss. Ship has fanned 8 in the game. He's throwing a 3-hit shutout. Arizona will bat in the bottom of the 7th inning, leading by a run.
You think Schilling's pumped up? He said he'd use it to his advantage. Fastball away. Watch Schilling react. Oh, yeah.
Now let's listen, as we've been doing all over baseball since September 11th, to God Bless America, as we remember and pray for those fighting men and women of America at war.
Bless America.
The Division Series on Fox, presented by Budweiser, is brought to you by your friends at Exxon and Mobil, who remind you to use Speed Pass, today's way to pay. And by Nissan. Nissan introduces the totally new V6 Ultima, the cure for the common car.
We look ahead to tomorrow, Game 2, Atlanta and Houston. The Braves with a 1-0 lead. That's here on Fox Family. And then at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, Game 2 of this series, presented by Budweiser. Randy Johnson against Woody Williams for the Cardinals. And then Game 1, the A's and the Yankees on Fox, presented by the New York Stock Exchange. That'll be at 8 Eastern and 5 Pacific. Damian Miller hit by a pitch leading off the 5th inning. They bunted him to second base. And then Miller scored the only run of the game on a 2-out single to center by Steve Finley. Both pitchers have been brilliant here tonight. 1-2 to Miller. Schilling pitching in the postseason for the first time since 1983 with Philadelphia. 1993, pardon me, with the Phillies. That one rolled to the left side. Charging Renteria, throws on the run, 1 away. And Morris getting his first postseason start. On October the 26th, one family must spend one terrifying night in one of the scariest places on earth, Dracula's castle. It's only on Fox Family, Friday, October the 26th.
It's funny because I thought you were going to say that maybe that was my bathroom, where it was the scariest place on earth.
We were thinking along the same line. That is scary in and of itself. I mean, you and I got to tone our act down for the Fox family network. You know, normally we're a little bit more out there.
Fox family's digging us. Come on.
1-1 pitch. Breaking ball in there to Schilling, a strike.
I have a good relationship with the good people at Fox family. Very nicely run organization.
Breaking ball, strike 3, and from Matt Moyer sets his 6th strikeout of the game. Second time he's gotten Schilling. Time to take a look at our Nissan game summary. Told you about the starting pitchers. They have just been fabulous here tonight. Morris and Curt Schilling. Schilling has handled the duo of McGuire and Edmonds quite nicely. 4 strikeouts. Edmonds did have the double in the top of the 7th inning. Now Tony Womack, and he looks at a strike. Well, I asked you, Steve Lyons, at the beginning of the telecast, if there was one area that could mean the difference for these teams winning and losing this division series. You thought it was starting pitching because both bullpens have been shaky at various points in time this season. That one lined off the glove of Vina, and that'll be more than likely a hit for Womack. I mean, Vina with a great effort. If Vina were 5'9", he'd catch it. When you're 5'8", you just miss.
He got up as high as he possibly could. The ball kind of shot his glove back. I actually think that would have been a great play and highlight. Look at that. Whoop. Got it right back to him. Just couldn't hold it there, but watch Vina get off the ground. That's some vertical leaping right there. You don't get any higher than that. Almost made the play.
Vina, the former Arizona State Sun Devil star, makes his year-round home here in the Phoenix area. Now Steve Finley, 2 of 3. Told you Womack, 28 stolen bases on the year. He's been thrown out 7 times, and if there's ever a time to get a guy started, now you figure would be the time, right?
Be aggressive when you're ahead in the ball game. Make the other team make the plays. The reason why the Cardinals don't run as much is because Schilling's so quick to the plate. And the reason why the Diamondbacks won't run as much is because Matheny is so good behind the plate throwing the ball.
First time we've seen activity in either bullpen tonight, and we figure to see plenty of that in this series. A pair of left-handers getting ready. Matthews on your left. Klein has had a sensational year on your right. And they're getting ready for the guy in the on-deck circle, more than likely, if Finley keeps this inning alive.
Tony Womack, seeing if he can get any kind of edge out there. The one guy on this team right now against Matheny that has the green light. You can see him looking in to see if he can maybe steal a sign.
Finley hits one to left center field. It'll fall, a base hit. Pujols over to cut it off. Here comes Womack, and they're going to hold him at third base as the throw goes back into second. Finley with his 3rd hit of the game, and let's see if Tony La Russa now makes a change.
Steve Finley has been doing a great job on doing what made him a good player in the second half. Staying inside the ball, driving the ball up the middle and to the other way. Tony Womack, the guy hitting in front of him there. Great speed, 1st to 3rd. This is the 2nd time we've seen him do this tonight. Looking to try to score if he can. They hold him up there. And Finley made the big turn around first base, thinking that he could get into second if they make a mistake.
I tell you, Steve, I've seen Chris Spire coach down there at third all year long, and I thought for sure that he was waving Womack home. Spire among the most aggressive third base coaches in all the major leagues. And the way Womack can run, Pujols going to his left, a right-handed thrower. Throw goes into second base. I thought he was coming home.
And it's a great time to do that because the throw did come into second base. Spire made the call on that maybe a little bit early. As he's going in to finish this play, Spire might be questioning himself as to say, why did I hold him that quickly? When the throw came into second, it wasn't a particularly good throw into second base either.
Well, Tony La Russa has made the decision, rather than bringing on the left-hander Klein or the left-hander Matthews, he's going to stay with Morris against Gonzalez. A huge decision in this game in a 1-0 game, bottom of the 7th inning by Tony La Russa.
Tony La Russa told us earlier today that he said, if you can't handle criticism for the moves that you make out here, you better pick a different line of work because you're not going to be a manager.
Gonzalez, first pitch swinging and down to third baseline, 3 rows out of play.
This is where it becomes so difficult, I think, to be a manager. You look at your starter, Matt Morris, and the job that he's done for you all day long. You know that your bullpen is not your strength on this team. Morris is starting to tire a little bit. But do you say, look, you're my guy, you've taken me this far, I'm going to ride you as long as I can, or do I get you some help and get someone else in here that might be able to get an out and keep us in this ball game?
Well, if you're wondering, Gonzalez, including tonight, is 1 of 12 against Matt Morris. He is 2 of 7 against Steve Klein, 0 for 1 against Matthews. And Morris gets ahead of Gonzalez 0-2.
Gonzo was sitting on a breaking ball on that pitch right there. When you're looking for the type of breaking ball that Morris has and he slips a fastball by you, you're frozen. You cannot pull the trigger.
That one grounded. McGuire able to knock it down and then tags the bag in time. Big Mac making a big play to end the 7th inning. That's what Tony's talking about. When you put a guy in and he does something good, you're the smartest guy around.
The Division Series on Fox, presented by Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you.
Tony La Russa told us that he thought they were a better team with McGuire in the lineup, even with his defense. He said he used to be an above-average defensive first baseman. He thinks even now with the injuries, he's still a better-than-average kick saving a beauty, keeping the ball in front of him, diving over there to get the big out. Mark McGuire has not hurt this team defensively at all today.
Well, Matt Morris' spot is due up second here in the top half of the 8th inning. The Cardinals down a run. Mike Matheny due to lead things off against Curt Schilling. Right now they have Miguel Cairo with a bat in hand, and it looks like Cairo is actually going to be sent up there to bat for Matheny. And now they have Eli Marrero in the on-deck circle to bat perhaps for Morris.
A risky move only because the Cardinals only have 2 catchers on their roster. Matheny's out of the game now. Marrero's in it. If he breaks a finger behind the plate, you got nobody to sit back there.
And Tony La Russa, when you asked him, said, okay, well, who would be your 3rd catcher in an emergency? He said, knock on wood, it never comes to that, but Polanco would be number 3. He's done everything else we've asked him to do.
That's about when I tell him if I did a few more sit-ups in the offseason, I could come back and be your 3rd catcher next year. I said, I'll take you.
Cairo, an outstanding pickup.
That pitch right there, Schilling's been throwing so many strikes, he wants everything.
That one in there, strike 2 and 1. Cairo was with the Cubs and played very well for the Cubs this season. And then for whatever reason, Cairo became available on waivers and was picked up by St. Louis, as was Gary Matthews Jr. by the Pirates. Popped up right side. Schilling running that fastball in on Cairo's hands. Easy play for Grace, 1 gone in the 8th.
It's amazing when you talk about the top 2 pitchers in the game, and certainly the numbers would prove out. Schilling and Johnson. Schilling is like a masterful craftsman out there, and Johnson, as you look at him, is just an overpowering, I don't even know what to call him out there. He just, he just blows you away.
Here's Marrero as a pinch hitter this season, 1 of 12. And you get a look overall at his numbers this year. Marrero hit a big home run earlier this season in this ballpark against Randy Johnson. Now he faces Schilling. And a weak grounder in a hole at short. Womack circles it, plants, throws on the money, 2 up, 2 down. Let's go to Jeannie Zalasko.
Tom, in Houston, John Smoltz got the call in the 8th inning. 18 pitches later, the former starter had a 6-out save, and his Braves had a 1-0 series lead. Game 2 tomorrow. Tom Glavine versus Dave Malicki, and maybe even more Smoltz. His arm is still fresh. Follow the whole tourney exclusively on the Fox Networks.
Jeannie, thank you very much. 2 gone here in the Cardinal 8th inning. And the leadoff man with nobody on base comes to the plate for the 4th time, Fernando Vina. Vina's line to center, grounded to first, and struck out. And Schilling going to work. Ball 1 low. That is only the 91st pitch of the game for Schilling. And we're 2 deep here in the 8th inning.
Schilling's a classic example of a guy who throws strikes, stays ahead in the count, and then has options to use once he does get ahead.
Up the middle, got a favorable hop for Womack. Throws off balance, and it's off the railing. And on to second goes Vina. A sloppy, lackadaisical throw by Womack. And we'll see if that comes back to haunt Arizona.
Well, he got the great hop off the mound, catches it. He should set himself now. He threw off the other foot. Didn't have to do that. Plenty of time. You can see that Vina isn't even in the picture yet. Set yourself, take another step, get your feet under you. It's rare that you see Mark Grace unable to pick and grin down there at first base too, but that was a tough one away from Grace, and it had a little something on it, a little mustard on it, even though he threw the ball off the other foot.
Womack committed 22 errors during the regular season, and many of them were throwing errors. And a huge one here in the 8th inning. It looked like Schilling was going back in the dugout after a 1-2-3-8. But now all of a sudden the tying run is at second. The go-ahead run for St. Louis coming up.
And Polanco is a guy that he has owned so far. Pitching him hard in, and then last time away.
Lined into right field, Sanders. And the inning is up. One of the hardest hit balls of the night. But Arizona had Polanco play perfectly. After 7.5, 1-0.
The Division Series on Fox, presented by Budweiser, is brought to you by Budweiser. With a crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. By MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. And by Nextel. Nextel, how business gets done.
What a ball game in Game 1 of this National League Division Series. Arizona and Curt Schilling 1. The Cardinals and Matt Morris nothing. Sanders able to pick that one off his shoe tops.
And a lot of times little mistakes become big problems for you, and that was a great jump by Sanders. That ball's tailing down and away from him. Schilling's looking at it saying, whoo, dodged a bullet right there.
Morris goes 7 innings, allows 6 hits, the 1 run, and he'll give way to the talented young right-hander. He's been a closer coming up through the minor leagues in the Cardinal organization, and he'll get a chance to save a game every now and again. Gene Steckschulte.
Now they love this kid's arm too. 67 games during the season. This is a team that hasn't had necessarily a set closer that they've gone to. They've used a bunch of different guys. Tony La Russa told us that he may be inclined to go to Steve Klein more often in this series as the closer because of all the left-handed bats in the Diamondbacks lineup. Of course, Klein a lefty.
Eli Marrero takes over behind the plate for St. Louis. Arizona bats last to the 8th inning. Reggie Sanders, Mark Grace, and Matt Williams coming up. Sanders doubled back in the 4th inning, went to 3rd on a throwing error by Pujols, but the Diamondbacks could not get him in. And it's strike 1 at the knee. The Diamondbacks took the chance on Reggie Sanders, gave him a 1-year contract. And that move has paid huge dividends in the desert. 0-2 to Sanders.
That is a sinker right there. Hard sinker. Down and into the righties. This is a tough pitch to hit. Watch the late movement in on the hands of Sanders from behind home plate.
Bouncing ball up the middle, and Renteria gloves, throws, and Sanders legs it out, an infield hit. That's the one thing about Sanders, boy. When he's healthy, not only does he have some thunder in that bat, he can run.
Oh, yes, he can. And that's a great play by Renteria, too. Unlike the last play that we saw with Womack, who could have got his feet underneath him, Renteria has no choice but to throw off the wrong foot there. McGuire picking and grinning, everything right. But look at the speed of Sanders. He was doing some low flying right there.
Grace has been asked to bunt this season by Bob Brenly. Brenly will go against the book. A guy like Grace, a lifetime 300-plus hitter. If he feels his team needs a run, Brenly will ask him to bunt. Not this time. Base hit in the right field. On to second goes Sanders. 2 on, nobody out. Now do you ask Matt Williams to bunt? He is one of the few Diamondbacks that has not been asked to do that this year.
Well, we talked about the double play risk that Williams is. 15 of them so far this year, but I say no. You're winning this ball game. Keep playing aggressive baseball. Swing the bats. Make Matt Williams understand that Stechschulte is going to throw the hard sinker down and in. You might ask Williams maybe to bail a little bit. Cheat. Get out in front of one of those. Step in the bucket a little bit. Think fastball in on the hands and try to pump one into the seats out there in left field.
And a lot of fans who watch American League Baseball the majority of the time might be saying, are you guys kidding me asking a guy like Williams to bunt? Believe me, in National League games you will see some decisions made by managers you never see in the American League game.
And especially when it comes playoff time, guys change their philosophy all of a sudden.
No sign of a bunt, and a strike at the belt on the outside corner to Williams, who will take a peek down to Chris Spire. Spire taking a look down to Bob Brenly, who's chatting things over with Bob Melvin.
Now the other reason why I say let Matty Williams swing the bat is he's already down in the order too. You have Counsell and Miller coming up behind them. They're 7 and 8 hitters.
0-2 to Williams. And you know, it's a great point you bring up, Steve, because I know the activity of the bullpen has started now for Arizona. Their closer be Young Kim, but I would be shocked if Curt Schilling is hit for this 8th inning.
Yeah, not the way he's throwing. He is dominating this game. He's in total control. He's been very efficient with his pitches. He can throw 120 pitches in a night. He is nowhere near that.
2 on and nobody out. 0-2 to Matt Williams. Fouled back out of play. Williams struck out in the second. He struck out in the fourth. Then he lined out hard to right field in the 6th inning, which allowed Grace, who was at second base in front of him, to tag up and advance on to third, and Arizona would take one of those right now. Pop fly in a short right field. Coming on to get it is Drew, and neither runner will advance. One away. And the crowd giving it a bit to Matt Williams.
I'll tell you what, in the at-bats that we've seen Matt Williams have today, he has been pitched very tough.
Tony La Russa going to make the pitching change. He only has a right-hander, I believe, getting loose down there in Dave Veers. That's who it is. We'll be right back.
The Division Series on Fox, presented by Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you.
Welcome back to Bank One Ballpark in Phoenix. 2 on, 1 out. We're in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Arizona with a 1-0 lead, and now on the pitch, a righty replacing a righty. Dave Veers, who has 15 saves on the year.
Right, the 15 saves that you talk about right there are lead this team. As we talked before, La Russa doesn't necessarily use the same guy to get every save on this team. He leads the team, but obviously right now in this game, not in a save situation. We talked about the possibility of going to Steve Klein a little more often in this series. You have Jeff Tabaka, another lefty down there that can also come in any of these situations.
And, you know, a lot of people have accused, have been a critic of Tony La Russa for over-managing baseball games at times. We asked him about that yesterday, and I think you'll find this answer rather interesting.
You just want to be ready, and you part of the analysis is, you know, if I think Brenneman's a low ball hitter, and hell, I'm not going to bring in a like sinker baller to face you. If I got a guy with a high fastball, if you hit a breaking ball but you bat slow, I'm going to go with my best fastball. So, you know, it's stuff that Duncan and I try to mix and match.
You know, a lot of people think he's always doing a lefty-lefty, righty-righty thing. I thought that was quite interesting, Steve, when he said that there's a lot more to it than just that.
Oh, absolutely. He's looking at, you know, like you said, I'm not going to bring a sinker baller in to face a guy who's a low ball hitter. Are you a low ball hitter?
A good one, too, boy.
Oh, you can smoke it.
That's why I'm sitting up here. 2 on, 1 out. And Counsell the batter. A good low ball hitter. High and away, ball 1, and they work him upstairs.
This is a classic example of the type of matchup that he's looking for, too. I mean, you have Tabaka, a lefty down there. You have Klein, a lefty down there. You bring in a righty to face Counsell.
Sanders runs very well at second. Gray slow a foot over at first. 2 on, 1 out, 1-0 Diamondbacks in the 8th inning. Fastball high and away, 2-0, and Counsell is the one guy more than any other player on the Diamondback team where Bob Brenly will roll the dice and play hit and run. He will gamble with Counsell at the plate more so than anybody else on his team.
They are paying some very good attention to Reggie Sanders at second, not letting him get any kind of a jump.
No action on the 2-0, strike on the outside corner.
They wanted to put guys in motion, hit and run type of a play. This would be the pitch to do it on. I don't like it with a guy on second base as much. It's an easy throw from Matheny down to third base if Counsell swings through a ball.
2-1 to Counsell, and he does swing through a ball. Boy, it's a nasty pitch right there.
And this slope there, that's actually Marrero now behind the plate, but some good late movement on that pulled the string on him a little bit. Here you see, look at the reverse spin on that ball as he turned it over, the changeup, little circle change.
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. And Veers comes on to fan Counsell. So Tony La Russa making the right decision there.
Back to back, same pitch right there again. Just pulling the string on that changeup right there. Good movement.
Two away in the inning. Now what do you do with Damian Miller?
Hey, you know, when you're looking at the score right now, you're down by a run. You got Schilling up there. You put him on. Load the bases.
Well, you made the right call. They've extended the hand of Eli Marrero. They're going to intentionally walk Damian Miller to load the bases for Curt Schilling. And, of course, Bob Brenly, a decision to make. Would he dare hit for Schilling? Here, Bob Brenly, in his first season, his first postseason game as a manager. And this is as big a decision as any National League manager has to make. This is the difference between the National League and the American League at its best.
And this is where managing comes into play. We've often heard Tony La Russa referred to as a genius of the game, knowing the X's and O's, forcing Bob Brenly to make a decision here. And I don't think there's any chance in heck that he doesn't send Schilling to the dish and bring him back out for the ninth.
The crowd likes the decision. You don't get a better illustration than this, the difference between the two leagues. A manager never has to make this call in an American League game. To take out a starter dominating through 8 innings in a one-run ball game.
And we talked about it before. That Schilling, he knows he's a bad hitter. But in this situation, you just got to think he loves the challenge of maybe taking the opportunity to bounce a hit out there.
Fastball outside, 1-0. And, of course, a lot of pressure now on the Cardinal right-hander Beard.
Toughest thing for a pitcher to do is come back and throw strikes after intentionally walking a guy. You take yourself totally out of your mix. Now it's hard to throw a strike to the next guy.
High bouncing ball. Renteria backs up on it, flips, throws to first, and it's in time. He wanted to go to second. Wasn't sure he could get the out of Miller. So we go to the 9th inning. Drew, Pujols, Edmonds coming up against Schilling. Does it get any better than this? Top of the 9th inning, a 1-0 ball game. One of the most dominant pitchers in all of baseball this season going through the heart of the St. Louis batting order in the 9th inning. Schilling has been Schilling. This is the way Curt Schilling has pitched almost the entire year for Arizona. So much has been made of Schilling and Johnson. You have to see it every 5 days to truly believe how good these two have been for this team.
We asked for great starting pitching at the top of this telecast, and we certainly have gotten it. And that man waits to bring his stuff to the mound tomorrow night with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball and a devastating slider.
And we're looking ahead quickly to tomorrow. It'll be Johnson, 21-6, the best ERA in the major leagues, the most strikeouts in the major leagues, against Woody Williams, who has been spectacular since coming over from San Diego.
Big at-bat here for Schilling. J.D. Drew, kind of a sleeping dog so far in this game.
0-1. Drew bounced out to the mound in the opening inning. He drew a walk from Schilling in the 4th. He lined out hard to Finley in center field in the 6th. One and one. Drew, 27 home runs. Pujols on deck, 37 home runs. Edmonds after that, 30 home runs. And it's a 1-run game. Breaking ball on the outside corner, strike 2.
We have not seen Schilling do that a lot so far this game. Likes to use the slider back door to left-handed hitters. Clearly continuing to make adjustments even into the 9th.
9th strikeout of the game for Schilling, one away in the top of the 9th inning.
The split finger looks like a strike and then goes away on you. Coming right into your living room. Go ahead and try to hit it.
Now Pujols, who has grounded to second, flied out twice to Sanders in right field. Fastball, strike 1, Schilling, 97 miles per hour on his 97th pitch of the game.
And that's the best pitch that Pujols has seen all day long to hit, the first time he hasn't swung at one.
Popped up. Perhaps playable. It is for Damian Miller. Curt Schilling given the ball in game 1 of this series over Randy Johnson. Many here in Arizona and across the country debated that decision by Bob Brenly.
That debate is over.
Now it's Edmonds, who doubled to right center field his last time up. Strike 1 on the outside corner.
Backdoor slider again.
It's still only a 1-run game. 2 down in the 9th inning.
to be interesting to see what he does now, Tommy. He tried to climb the ladder last time, and Edmonds got to the pitch. He still has the great split finger.
Schilling trying to put him away. On the ground at Council, Curt Schilling, a complete game 3-hit shutout. Phoenix-born, Phoenix-bred Curt Schilling. And he wins the Diamondbacks' first game in Game 1 of this National League Division Series. Can you step up any more big time than that? There's about 47,000 here that say not a chance. We'll be back with more in Phoenix. The Schilling is congratulated by the big unit on a 1-0 win. The Diamondbacks win it 1-0. What a duel between Curt Schilling and Matt Morris. Curt Schilling kind enough to join us on the field. Curt, you told us yesterday you want the ball in the biggest of situations. You can't do any better than that tonight.
Wow. You know what? The tone was set tonight in the first inning, for me anyway. When we get guys on second, third, nobody out, and Matt shuts us down. And I knew right then that it was going to be everything I had for 9 or we were going to get beat tonight. And defensively, we did what we had to do, and offensively, we got enough.
Curt, great fastball today, devastating split finger, even mixed in that backdoor slider late in the game. You looked like you could throw any pitch, anytime for a strike.
You know, I didn't feel real good coming out of the pen, and once the Jets flew over, and I got goosebumps, and the adrenaline started kicking in, and I just, it flowed. I wasn't feeling consistent early in the game. They were swinging early in the game and being aggressive, and we were able to stay in the game long enough to get the off-speed stuff for strikes.
Curt, congratulations.
Thanks, Tom.
And I want to ask you real quick, you looked like you injured your hip or your leg earlier in the game.
It started stiffening up in about the third inning, and I was working with Paulie all during the game, and that's actually why I was trying to hurry up and get in, because it's getting a little stiff right now.
Yeah, it's a good thing that they don't count on you to run the bases that much.
No, that's a beautiful thing.
Curt, thanks for taking the time to join us.
Thanks.
Curt Schilling getting a complete game 3-hit shutout. You said it, Steve Lyons, at the opening of the telecast. The team with better starting pitching will win this series. Great starting pitching by both teams tonight.
That was a classic matchup. One to tape and rewatch.
For more information, go to foxsports.com. For Steve Lyons and our entire crew, I'm Tom Brenneman. What a game here in Phoenix. Bob Brenly and the Diamondbacks.